Some places don't call out loudly. They simply unfold. Slowly, with every step. Welcome to Florence, the birthplace of the Renaissance, where every stone whispers history and every golden sunset sets the city ablaze with beauty. And then Pisa, a city forever leaning into legend, not to impress, but to remind us that imperfection is what makes wonder last. In this video, we take you on a soulful journey through the winding Firenze alleys, from the majesty of the Duomo to the timeless charm of the Ponte Vecchio, the world-class Piazza della Signoria, and some lesser-known corners. And just when you think the journey is done, Pisa appears, where the tower leans but the magic stands tall. Whether you're planning your first trip to Florence or reliving memories of this enchanting city, this is not just a guide. It's an invitation to feel Florence and Pisa. Nestled in the heart of Tuscany, Florence lies in central Italy, a cradle of Renaissance art and culture. It's surrounded by rolling hills, halfway between Rome and Milan, and a short hop from the Ligurian coast. Florence is well connected by high-speed trains from major Italian cities like Rome, Venice, and Milan. The Santa Maria Novella station places you right at the doorstep of history, just minutes from the Duomo. Stay in the historic city center for a true Florentine experience. Cobbled lanes, piazzas, and palazzos are within walking distance. Boutique hotels and charming bed and breakfasts near Piazza della Signoria or the Oltrarno offer both comfort and soul. Florence is a walker's dream, compact, flat, and filled with surprises at every turn. Forget cars and buses. Your feet and curiosity are the best ways to explore this open-air museum. Our train Freccia Rossa, which leaves at 1:26 p.m. Don't forget to validate your tickets because that's important. Our compartment number is 8. Seat numbers are pretty clearly mentioned outside the coach itself. Now we are in the Florence Santa Maria Novella station. As soon as you head out of the station, you see Santa Maria Novella, the first great basilica in Florence, lending its name to the station. But it is, however, the Duomo, which is its marquee attraction. And what comes to your mind when you talk about Florence? Well, that's exactly what it is. Duomo and the Giotto's bell tower. The Duomo pretty much dominates the Florentine sky. You can see it from everywhere. It's breathtaking. Goes without saying, this was the first destination for us. We wandered towards Piazza della Republica, a grand carousel turning gently, as if keeping time for the city. Next we walked to the bronze wild boar, Il Porcellino, just as a local child ran up and rubbed its snout with the same wonder we did. They say it brings good fortune. Happy?
Yeah.
From there to Piazza della Signoria, an open-air museum where the Renaissance breathes. And that's the Arnolfo Tower. This is the Piazza della Signoria. Behind me is the open gallery where you have so many different sculptures. And this also has the Uffizi Gallery as well as the Palazzo Vecchio. And as you can see, you have a replica of David right here. So you can go to Accademia Gallery to see the original, but outside there is a replica of David as well. And also this houses the Arnolfo Tower. At the piazza, David's replica stands there, bold and watchful. And the Palazzo Vecchio anchors it all. Nearby, Neptune rises in marble waves. We walked past the columns of the Uffizi Gallery from outside. As golden hour crept in, we caught a distant view of Ponte Vecchio. the Arno quietly holding up like a reflection from another century. One of the most beautiful bridges. When the Nazis were leaving, they destroyed everything. But this bridge, it was that beautiful that even the Nazis did not want to destroy it. They left everything. They broke actually all the houses around the bridge, but they kept the bridge intact. We walked as evening approaches to Piazzale Michelangelo for one of the most stunning sunsets over Florence. So it's roughly a 25 minutes walk to the Piazzale Michelangelo. So we have to climb that hill. Views, I can already see that.
Yeah, and the sunset is already started.
We got a beautiful view here itself, and it's very exclusive to ourselves. I'm pretty sure the Piazzale is going to be very, very thronged with crowd, but this gives us that exclusivity, and you can see the Duomo and the Giotto Tower right behind with an amazing view of Florence. That's Piazzale Michelangelo, finally. The view, it doesn't just show you Florence, it shows you your own stillness. The dome, the river, the rooftops, they don't move, but somehow you do. Florence at sunset is kind of a spell. After that, we came back, strolling across the beautifully lit Arno River to the amazingly beautiful Florence. Florence at night becomes magic. We tried the famous Neri's gelato. We were simply blown away. The most popular gelateria in entire Florence. I got my gelato with ricotta, the white, and then the salted caramel. That's chocolate and pistachio. Best gelato I ever had.
Yeah, it's the best.
2 full scoops, amazing taste, just €4. We are at the Barbere Pizzeria. If you are in for the treat at the Gelateria dei Neri, and if you are hungry, grab in a pizza from this place.
The pizza's here.
Brunelleschi's dome, 700-800 years of withstanding all the weather elements. Do visit in the night to get this kind of unbelievable views. Next morning, we headed to Mercato Centrale, a vibrant food hall for Tuscan delicacies, alive with color, steam, scent, fresh truffle pasta, thick steaks, and that Tuscan warmth that radiates from more than just food. Espresso from Cafe Magnelli, Mercato Centrale. So when in Florence, this is one of the hub of good food, fresh meat, local produce. Don't miss out on shopping the best handmade leather stuffs, jackets and bags made with care, the kind that lasts a lifetime. The rain returned in the morning. But Florence in rain doesn't feel grey. It feels like a watercolor that never quite dries. The line outside the Duomo was long, but stood in the line for the Duomo, we could enter the cathedral. It was amazing. The Duomo, officially known as the Cathedral of Santa Maria del Fiore, was engineered by Filippo Brunelleschi in the 15th century, a feat so revolutionary it changed the course of architectural history. The Florence Duomo is not just one monument, it's an entire sacred complex. At its heart is Brunelleschi's dome, flanked by Giotto's bell tower and the baptistry of San Giovanni. There are a few ticket options to choose from. Behind me is the beautiful Brunelleschi's dome from inside. The whole ceiling is painted with so many frescoes, but you have to climb the dome to get a very close view of that. Climbing its 463 steps rewards you with one of the most unforgettable views in all of Florence. Facing the Duomo is the baptistry of San Giovanni, one of the oldest buildings in Florence. Its eastern doors, the famous Gates of Paradise, created by Lorenzo Ghiberti, are gilded bronze panels that depict biblical scenes in breathtaking 3D details. Beneath the towering dome, He once imagined Brunelleschi rests in the crypt of the cathedral beneath the main altar in the area known as Santa di Parata, the remains of the ancient church that once stood on the site. It started raining, unfortunately. We wanted to go to the Arnolfo Tower, but doesn't look like it's going to be possible today. And in the afternoon, we also have to go to Pisa. We walked through historic Ponte Vecchio today. Let's get into the bridge, which actually houses lots of shops. So we walked through historic Ponte Vecchio today with our ponchos on. Shops glimmered with gold like little treasure chests. Piazza della Signoria. The statues looked different in the rain, solemn, more alive. We didn't make it to the Accademia, but standing here beneath open sky and centuries of art, we didn't feel like we missed much. A short walk led us to Casa Dante, tucked away in a quiet lane. The writer of Divine Comedy, Italy's Renaissance time greatest poet, philosopher, and author. Nearby, I bit into a Lamprodotto sandwich.
Parsley and garlic. Look at this. And then done.
Oh, you soak it up with that. Rustic, rich, pure Florence. Oh my god, that's a work of art.
From Florence, if you don't, you are not my brother.
And just beside it, one of the city's wine windows. A tiny portal into history. Lamprodotto sandwich. Oh, amazing. Now it's time for some wine. We came now to taste Florence's most famous tiramisu, and that's at Pompi. Salted caramel tiramisu?
Yeah.
One classic tiramisu. We laughed. We got lost. And yes, the tiramisu lived up to
All
the legend.
flavors here are extraordinary. Do come to Pompi.
We are done with our Florence experience. It was very fast, very quick. We could prioritize one short side trip to Pisa. A short train ride just an hour away to visit the iconic Leaning Tower. It still rained when we reached Pisa in the early evening. We stayed very close to the Leaning Tower. Nice terrace. I hope the rain stops soon.
A caprese pizza in front of the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
What better to be back at the hotel at your own comfort and then have dinner in a restaurant style. And then we saw the Leaning Tower by night. It was all to ourselves. A dream come true for me. Next morning was another vantage sighting of the Leaning Tower. It was magical, almost ethereal. Right in front of the beautiful, beautiful Torres di Pisa, or the Leaning Tower of Pisa. And make sure that you visit this place very early in the morning, because right now we have the entire place to ourselves, and this experience is really mind-blowing. And it's not just about the Leaning Tower. They call it Piazza dei Miracoli, or Square of Miracles, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. You've also got the stunning Cathedral of Santa Maria and the Grand Baptistry of St. John, all lined up like a postcard. Together with the Camposanto Monumentale, this harmonious cluster of medieval buildings forms one of the most magnificent architectural settings in the world. And now it was time to go for the next leg of our Italy trip, the Cinque Terre. We didn't see everything, we didn't climb every tower or walked every gallery. But we didn't need to. Florence and Pisa gave us moments, the kind that don't need filters or tickets or tour guides. And maybe that's the gift of travel. Because some places, they simply ask you to remember how they made you feel.